Today, I'm going to share with you what our first day back to homeschool looked like with 4 kids. My kids range in ages from 18 months up to 9 years old. So if you're interested in seeing what our first homeschool day looks like, keep watching. The night before our first day, I took time to prepare our homeschool space. Good preparation is key for ensuring that your first day of homeschool goes smoothly. I made sure all the pages were printed and our books were set out and ready to go, and our morning basket was full of all the things that I wanted to cover. But not only that, I wanted to add some extra special touches to our homeschool space to help build the excitement for my kids when they woke up in the morning. I found these super cute apple and pencil felt banners that I hung around our homeschool space. They were cheap, already put together, so really easy to hang up, and they also came in a pack of 2, so I was able to put these banners on the mantle in our living room as well, which was fun because we do our morning basket time in the living room, so we had some fun decorations in there as well. It's become a tradition for me to make a cute back-to-school chalkboard to take our back-to-school pictures next to. It's a creative outlet for me, and my girls get excited to see what mommy is going to draw for the first day back to school. Drawing on chalkboards might not be for you, but I do think it's fun to add some special touches here and there, decorations or special breakfast or whatever, to make that first day of homeschool feel really special and get your kids excited for learning. The next morning, I woke up before my kids woke up. I wanted to get a workout in and spend some time praying for our day before the girls woke up. As the year progresses, I can't say that I honestly wake up before my kids every single day, but I do make it a priority the first couple of weeks because it just helps to get us into a routine and make sure our first few days flow better. I got a workout in, I showered and dressed, and by that time my kids were awake, so we headed out for the special breakfast of cinnamon rolls for the first day of school. After breakfast, my kids did their regular routine of chores that we kept up over the summer, so that wasn't any different. And then once that was finished, we gathered together in our living room to start our school day with our morning basket. During our morning basket time, we prayed together. We completed the first day of the Not Consumed Bible study, which I just did a video on. So if you're interested in seeing more of that, head over to my channel and find that video. And then when we were finished with our Bible study, we listened to our hymn, read our poem of the month since we were starting on a Tuesday, read our scripture memory verse, and completed our morning menu. I also took this time to discuss some expectations of the day, and then we spent some time singing the ABCs and our days of the week and songs just for my preschooler. During this time, you can see that my almost 18-month-old is just toddling around, sitting on my lap, coloring on scrap papers, and we're just allowing her to just be in the mix of whatever it is that we're doing. I do usually use this time as a chance to help my littles learn to sit still, but I do that in short spurts. So I have her sit on my lap while we're doing prayer, and then after that, I allow her to get down and toddle around. We took a short break for a snack after our morning basket, give me a chance to get my coffee, and then we dove right into our science lesson. In all honesty, we didn't read through as much of the science lesson as I thought we would, but it's really okay. I could see my kids starting to get overwhelmed and tuning out, and so I just didn't continue. I love that Apology of Science has natural stopping points within the chapter, so it's easy to break up one chapter into as many lessons as needed, and I could tell after the first lesson that we're going to have to do this book in small chunks. On to the next part of our day, which we call table school. I wasn't really sure how this part of our day was going to go. I kind of had it planned in my mind, but didn't know how it was going to play out in real life. But thankfully, it actually went really well. So I had my 4th grader and my 1st grader sit at one end of the table, and they worked on some independent work. As you can see, it's just my 4th grader at the end of the table doing her writing right now. My 1st grader needed a little bit more of a break after science and wasn't quite ready to come to the table for more school, and I was totally okay with giving her that break. I let her go play with her toys back in her room for a little bit, and when I felt like she had had enough time to decompress, I called her back to the table. She came back with a great attitude and ready to go. Always make sure, moms, that you are tuning into how your kids are feeling and that you're giving them those breaks when they need those breaks, because that is the beauty of homeschooling. They are not at school. They don't have to follow the rigid schedule. We can ebb and flow with our kids based on how they are feeling and how much their brain is trying to process on those particular days. So always remember that connection over your curriculum is most important. So my big girls did their handwriting and their spelling, which I had laid out for them, and I gave them the instructions on how they should complete that work. While they were doing that, I sat at the other end of the table with my preschooler and just did some fun preschool work with her, while my 18-month-old sat in her high chair and scribbled on some paper. She's really into coloring right now, so that's very helpful because it kept her content for a good 10 minutes while I worked with my preschooler. After that, I sent my toddler and my baby into the other room to play together where I could still see them and hear them and keep an eye on them. I gave them a few toys that I'm keeping just for this time of school, so hopefully that will help keep their interest and keep them busy playing while I turn my attention back to the big girls. So I moved down to the other end of the table and I alternated between my 4th grader and my 1st grader as we worked through the first lessons in their math and language arts curriculum. My 1st grader is using Abeka for math and phonics with the addition of the first language lessons level 1, and my 4th grader is doing first language lessons level 4 and using Apologia for math. The expectation here is that they will wait patiently for me as I help them both with their work. I do have to go back and forth a little bit and they have to take turns waiting patiently, and it does take a few reminders for them to just wait patiently for mama to be able to circle back to them. But this is how we did it last year, and as we keep at it throughout the year, it does become a natural rhythm for us. So don't get overwhelmed, mamas, if this is you too and you feel like you're bouncing back and forth all the time. As you consistently work through this, you will find yourself settling into a natural rhythm, but you also have to do some consistent training with your kids to teach them to be patient until mama can cycle back to them. The other option is to do one-on-one lessons, and sometimes we do that depending on the day. My 1st grader usually finishes up before my 4th grader, and so then I can spend a little extra one-on-one time with my 4th grader, as her work does require a little bit more instruction as she's getting older. But as a whole, we found as a family it works better to have them at the table together. We were finished up with science, writing, spelling, math, and language arts all by lunchtime. So after lunch, I put the baby down for a nap and had my other 3 girls have a quiet time. Quiet times for your kids can be really beneficial for homeschool families. We're around each other 24/7, and sometimes we all just need a minute to ourselves, which is totally fine. Implementing this consistently really helps the sustainability of this lifestyle for not only your kids, but also for you as the mom. Once quiet time was over, I invited them back out for some reading time while the baby was still napping. My oldest did her independent reading and literature study that she's doing through Total Language Plus, and I sat on the couch with my middle kids. I read some picture books to them both, and then the 1st grader practiced her reading and phonics. After that, they were free to play for the rest of the day. I ended our school day by writing down everything we accomplished in my planner, which is called reverse planning, and it's opposite of writing down what you think you're going to get to and then checking off boxes. If you want to hear more about that, let me know in the comments because I'd love to share more of my planning process with you. And that's a wrap on our first day back to homeschooling. I can already tell that each day is probably going to look a little bit different, so I look forward to sharing more of our homeschooling journey with you in the future. If you enjoyed this video of our day, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more of our homeschooling adventures. Until next time, happy homeschooling.